Well, I think some of the major changes in the world have come about as a result of them. So changes in, Rachel Carson's silent spring about pesticides and all that sort of stuff. That created major change. Environmental Act, basically created in the US. The removal of CFCs for ozone depletion. The quite strong movement now against kind of carbon intensity or rivers and those sort of things. I think those are really useful at an awareness level. They tend to break down if you just harp on forever and ever and ever and ever about stuff. So I think they have limits. It's not like the government is unaware of biodiversity being something which is good and we should limit the loss of biodiversity. So it's more about, I think, it moves quickly from advocacy to actually solutions, being solutions driven and actually getting traction and knocking some stuff off. So if you're in the marine environment, getting some marine reserves and start with a couple of little ones, ask for some bigger ones, show how well they work, that sort of stuff. Get broader buy-in. Everyone loves snorkeling in the marine reserve, so it's obviously a good thing. And I saw the other day actually just on that. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but I think Sanford, one of the big fisheries we have, had $450 million of revenue and $20 million of profit. So what that means to me is they have killed $450 million worth of a wholesale value of fish in order, which is, I don't know, what fish is a ton when you're but if it's probably only like $2 a kilo or something, so $2 a kilo, $2,000 a ton, so you kind of work it out, how much fish that is that they've killed, to generate $20 million of profit. So you've created, and then you pay tax on it, so for shareholders they make 15 million or something. Shareholders make 15, so you've made 15 million, so the economic benefit of killing, at a retail price, probably $3 billion worth of fish has been $15 million of privatised benefit for shareholders. So the numbers just seem out of scale, out of whack for me, that we can have an industry which is so extremely inefficient doing that. So it's not like there's massive economic loss that comes from it. There's a bunch of jobs and stuff and whatever, but it's to me those numbers are just out of whack. Make 50. I know software companies that make $15 million with 3 guys. So it's. I think I think you need to move from advocacy to doing stuff to actually doing stuff. And on the philanthropy side, governments spend all their money on the same stuff, right? Health, education, livelihoods, there's no one, and welfare, basically. So, creating jobs, healthcare, educating people, those are the main sort of areas that people spend money on. It's exactly the same stuff you spend money on in philanthropy to get good bang for your buck. You care about people's health, you care about their kids' education, you care that they can eat and have shelter, and they're all sort of healthcare, welfare issues, and ultimately what drives those incomes. So the organisations, that's a bit of a digression, but the organisations we fund are scaling. So they are going to a village, giving some seed to some farmers. At harvest time, they repay them, and so they've got a financially sustainable model. And then they can go from one village to, we've got guys that have gone from 2,000 farmers to 200,000 farmers. The only reason they can do that is they've got inbuilt financial sustainability, and they've actually lifted 200,000 farming families, or about 1 million people, out of poverty. They've literally done that. I don't know if advocacy seems to be big bang, or it's like let's not smoke and let's wear seatbelts and wear bike helmets and that sort of stuff, and that has a place and is important and works or doesn't work, but I think it's important to recognise when it works and when it doesn't work, and when the diminishing returns are kind of in there. Most people that come out of advocacy organisations are pretty negative about them once they're out, ultimately. Once they're spent 10 years in there. They go in there when they're 25 and they're all excited, and then they come up when they're 35 and they're just like, oh, so depressing. Did nothing for 10 years. Which to me is a bit signal, but I think it does have a valuable place.